welcome to my kitchen. This evening I'm going to be showing you how I make my fruit leather. Now it's been a busy day. My son, we're finishing up school, getting ready for testing, for his state testing. We're also coming up on the start of the GNCC race season, so he's been out riding and we've been working on new ramps and jumps and tabletops and things. So it's been a busy day. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to start this fruit leather, and it will give him something to snack on tomorrow that's better than a fruit roll-up, which is one of the favorite things that we all loved growing up. But I've been making fruit leather for a long time, so I'm going to show you what I do. Let's get started. So to get started, I'm going to take my frozen, got my stock pot. I'm going to take my frozen fruit, and this is a mix of strawberries, cherries, blueberry, pomegranate, and raspberry. But I've got some extra blueberries that I froze down, so I'm going to add those in here too. Okay, get all that in there. I'm going to use half a cup of water and just pour it in over this. Because the frozen berries will release their liquid and make juices, and we are going to puree this. Now I've got 1/8 of a cup of sugar. You can use honey, you can use stevia, you can use whatever you want. And I'm not using much, I'm just using 1/8 of a cup. Mix that in. Now I'm going to get this on the stove and bring it to a simmer. I want it to warm up and to thaw before I puree it. Now I've got the juice from my lemon. It's 1/2 of a lemon that I juiced. And I'm going to take just a couple of teaspoons, just 2, that's all you need, of gelatin, and sprinkle that over the top. I'm going to set this side to let it bloom. And then while my fruit is heating up, I'm going to line my trays with parchment paper. I have my trays lined. I just have the regular dehydrator trays. They actually make trays that are specifically for fruit leather, but I just use parchment paper. I cut out around the middle so there's an opening, and I cut it a little short on the sides so that the heat can come up, the air can come up and help dry it out, and so it's not just completely covered. So you can see around, like you can see around the edges of my parchment paper. And I just crumple my parchment paper up so it lays a little bit easier in the tray. All right, so I've got my trays ready. Right now I'm waiting for the fruit to thaw just a tiny bit more. We're almost there. And then I'm going to put it in my blender to puree it. My fruit has come up to a low simmer, which is the perfect point. So now I'm going to transfer it to my blender and puree it before I put it back on the stove. This whole process, like from pulling it out of the freezer to where I get it warmed up enough that I can puree, not even 10 minutes. Like, this is so easy to make. It's just time consuming, but it is delicious, and I don't feel bad about my kid eating it. I've also made it with canned fruit. We like, because I can a lot of our fruit down during the harvest season, and he likes peaches, raspberries. Oh my, this kid, he'll eat just about anything. This one I like. I know it was a store-bought mix, but it had raspberries and blueberries and strawberries, cherry and pomegranate. Sorry, I'm sure you wanted to see the bottom of my pan. Now With this, after you puree it, you can strain it out. We don't, because we like that little crunch of the strawberry seeds in there. The cherries have been pitted and everything, so you're good with that. Now, if it's a big pit, we're going to take it out. But with the little strawberry seeds, we're going to leave it in. Just be careful taking the lid off so you don't splash yourself with warm berry liquid. I'm just going to transfer it back to the pan. And I want to keep it warm before I add the gelatin back into it. Just so that gelatin can melt, liquefy, and get in. So here's my mix. This is going back on the stove. This is at a low simmer. It barely even cooled down while I was pureeing it. So now I'm going to take my gelatin. As you can see, it's all bloomed and gotten hard in here. I'm just going to break that in there. Now you want to mix this until it's all dissolved. So just keep stirring, and it'll only take about 30 seconds. All right, my gelatin is all melted in. We're a nice liquid here. Shut my stove off. So I've got my trays right here beside me. I'm going to see if I can move my camera so you can see what I'm doing here. So I'm just going to take my measuring cup and scoop this up, and I'm just going to carefully pour it. I don't want it running off the sides of my parchment paper, but I do want to put a layer on here. Now, if you had the other trays, you could make it thicker. But since I'm using parchment paper, I'm a little bit careful with how I pour it on here. Right there, that one's trying to sneak out. Now it can run just a little bit, which you just wash your trays. It's no big deal. So I've got this tray filled, and it will be ready to go on to the dehydrator. I'm going to quickly fill the rest of my trays and get this in the dehydrator. Now that my trays are filled, I am going to go put them on the dehydrator. I will set my temperature for like 125 to 130, and then I will let it dry overnight, 12 to 14 hours. So we'll be back in the morning. It's been about 14 hours and my fruit leather is dry. So what we're going to do, now you can take your kitchen scissors and cut these up. I just tear them into chunks. So we need to peel it off of our parchment paper. See how easily this comes off? One big chunk. Now I'm going to tear this up into smaller chunks and put it in a mason jar. Now, if you want to cut this into strips and roll it up like a fruit roll up, you can. We prefer it in little chunks so we can just grab it, pop it in our mouth, and go as we're on the run. And this is so good. It's so delicious. My son loves it. So after I get all of it in my jar here, my husband also, he loves having it in his lunchbox as a little snack. So I've got it all tore up in my jar. I'm going to take the moisture wicking packs. I'm just going to put 2 of them down in there. Put my lid on. And here's our fruit leather all ready to go. Thank you for joining me today, and happy baking.